All right, welcome to our Grapple how-to video. Obviously the point of these videos is to bring you guys some familiarity. We've got some years of experience here in using these and renting them, and what to use them for, what not to use them for, and how to be safe with them. So we just intend to give you guys some tips.
Grapple's great tool to add to your rental. A lot of guys will get a regular bucket and then they'll get a Grapple bucket as well. Grapple buckets come in a couple different kinds. Here you see a root grapple, which allows the dirt and some smaller debris to sift through the bottom as you're picking up larger debris. We also have a industrial grapple bucket, which is more like a skid steer bucket with the tines you see up on top as well. So the root grapple is more so for moving debris like you see. The grapple bucket would be more for scraping the ground, having some larger debris on the ground that as you push that forward you need to use the tines to grab a hold of it and move it as well. So
and look at the tree he moves here. I mean, it's just
effortlessly.
Any machine or any tree you have down on your property, or maybe your hunting camp or whatever. I mean, they just make such light work of such difficult tasks. Sure. And we look at the mess that this was a mess in our backyard, and I think we cleaned it up in what, 15 minutes?
15, 20 minutes. Yeah, it was almost nothing at all. Yeah. As you can see, it's a great tool to have, very handy. One thing you have to watch out for, as you can see as he drives into these piles, there's all sorts of debris and sticks that are every which direction. Mm-hmm. So as you drive in, it's important to watch, where all that debris is, and making sure that the hoses are, securely fastened out of the way. You're not, grabbing onto any branches or twigs. Make sure that nothing makes its way through the front of the grapple and is, aimed towards the glass in the cab. But also very important is to make sure that you're not driving into a pile and you're damaging the tracks on the front of the machine.
Yes.
Seen that so many times where guys have pushed tracks off for driving into piles with a grapple bucket, trying to get just a little bit farther, and then the front of the tracks get damaged. So very important to be aware of your surroundings when you're operating this attachment, knowing where your hoses are, where the front of your machine is, where the debris is that you're trying to move, just to ensure that there's no accidents or damage done.
And it's really not that hard. It's just you get used to the strength of the machine, and
you get going, you get in a groove, you get moving, and then the next thing you know, you forget to double check that one time.
And it doesn't take a lot of pressure to mess up those hoses when you're moving trees like that.
Correct.
And actually, when we were shooting this video, we ended up tearing the hoses out because we were just like, okay, yeah, let's go move the trees.
For the record, that was not me operating.
Yeah. But yeah, we tore the hoses right out of the back of the couplers. You got to go, the hoses cost $200 or so, and you got to go buy the hoses, rewire them, which isn't hard. It's just 4 nuts. It's a pain when you get down on a job, and now all of a sudden you got to go find somebody who can make the hoses and put them together. And thankfully, this was on site here. But that's the danger. That's what to watch out for, from a safety standpoint. And then you also have to deal with the oil cleanup. So,
and on that segue too, we do offer, road service as well. So if you're, down on the job and you need us, you could definitely call, here's us here at Upstate Equipment, and we can make those hoses right on the road for you as well. So we don't like to get those phone calls. The service department does, but as the rental team, we don't like to hear that. But just another option as well. But a great attachment, many different uses for this setup.
So from a safety standpoint, naturally we're going to cover our bases of, keep anybody else that you have. Nobody should be within 100 to 200 feet of you when you're operating this attachment.
Especially moving trees.
Yeah, especially, exactly, with whatever you're moving. But you want to make sure if you're on site, let's say you're at your house or whatever, and you got some kids, make sure that everybody knows and there's an adult watching the children, keeping them indoors while you're operating this. The machines have incredible visibility, but they're not designed for playgrounds. So if you're building the playground, that's one thing. If you're on the playground, that's another thing. You want to make sure that everybody knows you're operating and keep people away from it. Those jaws on the front have thousands of pounds of pressure. They can take anything they grab, they're going to take it off. Right. It's that simple. And the same attention, you can check our other videos where we talk a lot about the safety of the operation of the actual track loader itself that's displayed in this video. All those things apply the same exact way, but you really want to make sure you keep your distance. Make sure as you're in that cab that you remember that if you tilt that stick or log the wrong way that weighs 120 to 500 pounds, depending on what you're lifting, that it doesn't come back and crash into the cab and hurt you. So there is some skill involved in this, but it's not something that a homeowner can't do as long as they're paying attention, being safe and operating smoothly according to demonstration in this video.
Yeah, absolutely. And this attachment really complements the brush hog and forestry cutter rentals that we offer. Guys, you may think, when would I use a grapple bucket? But if you got that half-acre lot you want to put your food plot in, or you want to turn into grass, and you got to cut those trees down, it's still going to leave those fine particles. That industrial grapple will scrape the ground really well, and you'll be able to pick up that debris and move it, and pile it, whether you have a burn pile or you're going to just pile it out of the way. So it really complements the brush hogs and forestry cutter rentals.
Even
well.
even homeowners and landowners that are putting up a barn, maybe you can save so much money by clearing the area before you get the quote.
For sure.
Because if you go through, you rent the machine, you cut the trees down yourself, you move the trees with the grapple bucket, you burn them off or cut them up for firewood or whatever you're going to do. It's amazing how much that takes off the price to put up a building. Especially if you did it all yourself and all the site prep.
Absolutely.
So.
And from a maintenance standpoint on this, there are a few grease points, but again, everything comes to you greased and ready to go. If you have this for a week to a month rental, just make sure you're taking time to hit those grease points with regular equipment grease, before you use it, to ensure that those tines stay moving properly, and that the connections on the hydraulic lines and everything like that stay good, and that you're not stretching the hoses out or tearing the hoses. So just daily inspect the lines and then the pinch points to make sure that everything is working properly.
Now, if anybody has any better suggestions or maybe some things we missed, obviously we're just trying to give some experience and operation on this video. Leave it for us in the comments. Maybe link a video of something you did good with an attachment or something, or that you thought was cool. That will benefit all the viewers. And be safe out there.